Hello and welcome, as today's date comes in that of Friday, the 22nd day of November 2019. My name is Derek. Like always, all bets, trades, and of the like within each his own risk and their own reward. Failed move, fast move. There was a failed breakdown. Fast move higher. That fast move higher failed breakout as it had, well, basically this daily move in itself unable, at least there was this attempt in here to get things rolling, we'll say, and then this must hold area right in here. Obviously it didn't hold it. It was on the 14th of this month when I was basically stating in here, okay, very cautionary, looking like it might go down, and we've had a concise move. And I gotta think now with today's low and at 6,785 that it's got at least a little bit more to go, as I've been mentioning, of course, about the low 6,000 handle. But before we get there, on the weekly term, it had a situation from the rally last year. It was moved from 3,000 up to 13. And within it, it broke out April the 1st, a very steady rise amongst this 18 or above it. And September, this September 23rd stamp going below the 18, we can see that the failed breakout move higher was a play to the 18 average of highs. And while this particular week has been exiting this 18 and looking just barely breaking down below this level of support, you'd got to expect that it's going to at least head down. I would have to think a little bit more down towards this part, and even this area where we came from at 52 is most certainly in play, which would be that of a higher low. On the monthly term, as we continue lower, it is going down towards this 18 average of lows after it started off with 5 consecutive green candles higher, but not resisting the lows, not resisting the highs, resisting really halfway between the 18 highs and this previous 20K one from the end of 2017. And thus a little bit of support here at the highs. Now we're moving down towards this low area. Well, which one's going to be the failed move again now? Is it going to be this failed breakdown, or is it going to be this failed breakout? One of those either or situations. If this is the failed breakdown, well, then there's your move higher, come back down to the correctionary move on the 18, and then eventually, of course, it would go higher. And then, of course, if this is the failed breakout, this is your original move lower, your higher low move that would come in, and then, of course, price action would then eventually break down below. I can't guarantee one over the other, but I think it's highly probable, rather, that this correctionary move is going to be just that, a correctionary play to the downside, thus in time, however long it may take, we would eventually see much higher prices. Let's now continue on within this, but I want to switch this up to the Coinbase exchange next. And the reason for this exchange is only because I do have the Fibonacci lines in place in here, with the next 2 key levels coming in at 63.42. So a pierce below this, we are looking towards like 6,000 even, 59, 58, and to say that this is a must-hold area in here, most certainly, and at the 48, 41 handle. Let's take a look at this on a shorter term time frame now. We'll start within the 8-hour, which again, there's your failed breakdown, big move higher, establishing this level of support, which was resisted in here, and there we have it. And November 14th, as I stated, as we can see, it was losing its edge on this point in here. And ever since this move in here, just bigger size moves, this one and then the most recent one that we are in play right now. We take a look at this on the single hour term. A lot of this happened at between 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the morning. We can even see here that there was a short term failed breakout in here. I haven't looked at it as far as anything on a shorter term, But again, failed move, concise, fast move, now down towards the downside. And most certainly, we are facing larger volatility along the situation. There's more on that failed breakout there. And now, very short term, we have this last low. This come in at 9:08 in the morning. It's 10:04 as I'm doing this. And what we've had is our first real attempt, and it's since this one in here, to stop the down market and do that of start a bull run. Well, this stopped the downtrend in here, but there was no setting up any bull run. We have a long ways to go, because when we look at all of the decline that's come into play, there is so many different spots that it can go up to. Like just to move up to here would be 7,500 and change. That would be like 500 basis points, 7-8%. And the capabilities of it doing this right now, because of the high volatile times, in a short window or time frame, like 3 hours or something, is much more likely. But in the same turn, going down to that 6,000 level is very much so, because if this short-term move fails, we have weakness amongst the 18 lows. We start to break down below this level of below this support. Well, most likely it wouldn't be a surprise if it loses 9% in 90 minutes kind of situation. The Bitcoin dominance amongst everything is well, it's not really doing too much, barely going up, which means altcoins are losing a little bit more amongst the declines. And now let's take a look at one of the next altcoins. And I've really had it along the Komodo front for this entire duration of time. And I don't, as of last night, or yeah, I was logged on last night, the wallet's still offline for Komodo, meaning on Binance you cannot deposit or withdraw your funds there. And I don't have any funds on there, but that means during this up run I was unable to take my funds from my wallet and move them into the exchange. Now, there's been a lot of times when there's been delays of wallets. This one has taken the cake as being the worst, though, where the wallets just, well, for an extended period of time, just aren't available. And then when it happens, it just seems that these markets have Binance rallies all the time when that's the case. So I got no choice. I was thinking of this last night before I was going to bed. I got to get out of this in that sense. This is just not cool. Let's take a look at the ratio, and I can find out if I haven't logged on Binance yet today. I could make a couple trades, but I kind of want to wait and see for better volatility on the H bar handle. But what we'll do is I'll go Binance, KMD, BTC, and divide it by Bittrex. Okay, it looks like the wallet might be back and running now, I guess. This is the daily chart, because it's gotten back to the even par number. But a lot of that could be the... Let's just take a look. When did... Well, it wasn't available last night. But of course, the Binance gains during this... And why it happens during those situations... it's just kind of fishy. So I'm going to basically sell it and buy something else with it. And most likely it'll go way up when I do that, because I haven't looked at this in days. I'm going to say go BTC. If this is like 130, that would be sick. Still. As I got out of this, and it started to go higher. So just to let you know, Komodo, I'll let you know when I get out, but it's probably going to skyrocket. Of course, this hasn't skyrocketed by any means. And I got into it just to basically be an H bar. So whatever happens will basically end up happening. Why do I have the... I got to change this to Binance, but... Because if you take a look at this on Bittrex, all those just doesn't look as good. Right here, it looks a little bit better. But it's got its okay volatility to start, having this move up to 400 and all of this kind of stuff. So we'll see what happens. Again, I'll just keep trading these coins back and forth and let the results play as they may. And as I continue on within this journey on Daily Fantasy, now I profited a 4th consecutive night in a row. 4 days playing showdown individual games. Last night I put up a stake between $50 and $60 and I got $90 profit. And net profits so far this season near 600, with a goal by the end of the Stanley Cup Finals to be 10,000. But as I've been thinking, could it be 10,000 by the start of the playoffs? And if it is, that's just the reason why I said 10,000 was because I'd figure I'd get to maybe 2,500 to 3,000 by the end of the regular year, and the playoffs would just be a more profitable time. Well, that 2,500, 3,000-ish area, I'm not that far away from. And if I continue on further, past what they call the showdowns is where you play one individual games. These ones in here, the sample size is only barely starting to grow. 174 of them, 174 games that I played, for a net buy-in of $86.85, a net return of $88, which means I'm up $1.15. Yeah, really nothing. However, this game here is one where you need higher volume, I'm thinking, and in low volume you need luck, because these are very top-heavy payouts, especially with these games, because there's just a lot more participants. These are the amount of people playing in some of these games, like 1189. So this is me finishing, and let me just... This is the place that I finished in. This is... I just deleted every other column that wasn't needed. This is how much I got back on the bet. This is how many participants were in the game. And that's how much I spent to get in. And the variety of these is very much that, and a very good variety. But I've taken this even further, because this is where you really need to get lucky to win, and it's top heavy payout. But that's why with volume, I think it can work. Now, whether this is going to be profitable or not, we're going to see. I have set this up on a formula. What I have in here is it calculates how often I finish in the top whatever percentage of the field. So 0.2% is beating every 500 people I'm in first place. Out of 5,000 I'm in 10th. If I haven't finished in the top 0.2% yet. However, if I put this into 50%, on average, well, that's half the games is 87. And I've done it 102 times. Say a third of the percent, 33% of the time, I've outperformed it. Now the cash numbers can be around 20% oftentimes, and well, I've hit 55 when the law of average is 35 almost. On the 10%, I've I've almost doubled that number. At say 7%, well, I have better than doubled that number. Well, noticeably doubled it. At 5%, I have definitely better than noticeably doubled it. I got a strategy playing regular games as well too. Whether it's a short slate like tonight with 2 games, or whether it's a large slate like last night with 13 games, and anything in between. 3%, which means out of 100 people, or that means I'm going to finish in the top 3. Out of 1,000 in the top 30. But you can see I've basically done better than double. 2%. We're getting close to triple on this one. 1%. I mean, I finished in the top 1% 6 different times. Now, granted, I had 2 very similar lineups last night, but still, it's only two results. Where it was only one player that was different. Because I had double the lineups in yesterday. But 0.5%. I got 3, 0.4, I got 1, and that's why on the quarter, I haven't even hit the quarter number yet. So I'm curious, and this is what a lot of this for me is in testing mode. But I do realize that the showdown game in itself is a very profitable situation. And this is looking to me like the third time I'm going to basically turn what I call peanuts or close to nothing into very much something, where for cryptocurrencies, that was the bigger stake. That was a 3-figure sum, starting and then growing much larger. But just like I've done in like with poker sites before, where I've done the same balance number, $30-$40, and then you get it. I haven't turned this into 4 or 5 figures, let alone 5 yet. But I definitely think I have the possibility to do such. And that sort of tames how rough the whole Komodo situation is. Whether the cryptos go up or down, because I'm down for the week overall in my net portfolio. I'm sure gold and silver doesn't do too much to change that. Last I checked, it was basically doing nothing. So let's just take a look at gold's 0.1, and silver is basically unchanged. And it's just doing the sideways thing, but my portfolio's down because cryptos are down. They're down a lot more than what I've gained, a few hundred on the fantasy. And over, I mean, this doesn't change much. But that's why over the last several years, when I've had opportunities to turn cryptos into things like precious metals, I've done so, because I don't know for sure if cryptos are going to end up succeeding for the next leg higher, I'll even say, and a significant leg higher. I do not envision or see any, and I try to see situations where this is going to not work out, and that of storing a store of value. Whereas with so many other ones, I try to even find reasons why I can say other ones, other than really gold, is safe for such. Because fiat currencies, maybe you can say, well, this individual stock and so on. Okay, well, yeah, maybe if you want to get technical and smart and intelligent in stocks and say buying this stock and doing it this way is a guarantee, well, maybe some of them are. I just wouldn't know for sure. I mean, say, well, Amazon's good right now, and you know what? They probably will remain to be so. But for me, gold and silver are the safe ones. Cryptocurrencies offer much larger volatility, much higher risk, much higher reward potentials. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.